All right, y'all, welcome to episode 36 of Music in the Minor League. Today we are joined by Micah Schnabel, who you may recognize from Two Cow Garage or his solo recordings or his time as an author. He just released his second book, The Clown Watches the Clock. Really excited to get some time to talk to Micah and talk about books and music and his path. I mean, Two Cow Garage has got to be reaching like almost 25 years as a band, so a lot to discuss, man. We're really happy to sit down and talk to him. Before we start, get everything out of the way. Micah will be hitting the road in March. Him and Vanessa Jean Speckman, who you heard last week on the podcast. On March 14th, they'll be in Cleveland, Ohio at Mahal's. On March 15th, they'll be in Hazleton, Pennsylvania at Hazleton Art League with Joe Jack Talcum, who you may know from The Dead Milkmen. March 16th, they'll be at Malden, Massachusetts at Faces Brewery. March 17th, they'll be in Providence, Rhode Island at Askew, and that show will be with Dave House, man. It's going to be super cool. March 19th, they'll be in Manchester, New Hampshire at Shaskeen Pub. And then March 23rd, they'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at Cativo with Tim Barry, which will also be like a super awesome show. Then for the summer, they're going to hit the road with Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls. They're going to be all over the place. I mean, literally all over the place. So there's a little bit too many dates to read, but just believe me, they'll be there. For us in the Houston area, they are not coming to Houston like so many tours don't do, but they will be in Austin on June 14th and they will be in Dallas on June 15th. So if you're in the area, go check them out, man. I mean, everybody loves Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls, and then you get to see Vanessa and Micah open up the show. Amigo the Devil and the Bridge City Sinners will also be on that tour sharing dates. All right. As for us, well, we're same as last time. We have no shows the rest of February. We took the month off to prepare for our album release. As of now, we added a So Far show on March 2nd. Visit our link tree for ticket link. Is what it always is, man. So far, it's fun. You get to listen to a bunch of different bands and check out music, hang out in a cool spot. This one's going to be in East Downtown. Then, March 8th, the new album drops. It'll be out on all streaming. We hope y'all give it a listen. We're really proud of it, man. Really our favorite thing I can say it's the favorite thing I've been on. So worth checking out. Then on March 9th, we're going to do a full band show at the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe. Tickets are selling well. Hurry up and get in there before it sells out. It's going to be a good show. Grifters and Chills will be opening up the show. It's their first show back since John had knee surgery. So special show all the way around. Then on March 23rd, we're going to be at Fredonia Brewing in Nacogdoches. Love it up there. They've been really good to us. We're looking forward to having an album release show up there with all of them. Then on March 30th, we will be doing our hometown Houston album release show at Black Magic Social Club. That show will be with Grifters and Chills, who will also finally have vinyl copies of their Fireball album for sale. So we're doing like a dual album release. And closing out the party will be Shame on Me. We asked Kim what she wanted because it'll also be her 50th birthday. She wanted to rock out and dance to Shame on Me. So that's what's happening, man. We're really excited for that show. It's going to be a great one. And that's it, man. We'll see y'all soon. Have a great one. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, Micah Schnabel. Check out the book and the new album, both called Clown Watches the Clock. The book is back in stock now on Bandcamp. The album's still in the pipe. With that, we're going to get to the interview, man. But before we start, we have a new song from Micah Schnabel we're going to premiere here. The song's called Strip Mall. Hope you dig it. See you next time. Later.
Inside the old Mexican restaurant that used to be a Pizza Hut that shares a parking lot with the dollar store. The congregation bows their heads and say prayers that taste like a stomach ache. While a talk show host that drives a Cadillac promises them their lives will be better after they're dead. And he's mostly right, but for all the wrong reasons. The sports bar next to the Ethiopian restaurant has cover bands on the weekend and a patio that is still roped off with caution tape from last week's shoot. Tonight's Darton Billiard League will now be a memorial banquet benefiting Danielle, the bartender who was shot in the neck during a fight over a motorcycle registration. My heart is a strip mall and it's going out of business. My heart is a strip mall and it's going out of business. Broken windows, neglect. taking care of a crying baby, and the guy who was supposed to replace her called in sick. When she gets off work, she'll walk the 3 miles home to find a bright orange eviction notice taped to her front door. She jingles her keys, says a prayer to the private investment firm, that the lock still turns. My heart is a strip mall, and it's going out of business. My heart is a strip mall, and it's going out of business. Broken windows, neglect and indifference. The writing on the wall says there's no such thing as an innocent witness. The waitress at the 24-hour diner with the hatchet man tattoo on her neck steps outside and rips her vape pen and adjusts her bedazzled state-provided ankle monitor. Bumper sticker on a Cadillac in the parking lot says not all who wander are lost. And she thinks to herself, well, maybe not all. Well, maybe not all. But most, my heart is a strip mall, and it's going out of business. My heart is a strip mall, and it's going out of business. Broken windows, neglect and indifference. The writing on the wall says, the writing on the wall says, there's no such thing as an innocent witness.
All right, y'all, welcome to this episode of Music in the Minor League. Today we are joined by Micah Schnabel, who you may know from his band Two Cow Garage, or you may know him as a solo artist, or you may know him as an author of 2 books now.
Yeah.
Which I am completely, as someone who works in a library, completely in awe of, because every time, I went to school for journalism, and once you got past that 8th page, it was like, yeah, what's next? So that concentration is just mind blowing.
Oh yeah, I can focus for 8 or 9 minutes at a time. It's great.
Solid.
He's solid. Like a solid 6.
That's great.
Last 2 are rough, and then I take a break.
Working short bursts.
Mm-hmm.
Works out, but man,
They
yeah.
will accomplish a lot in short bursts.
yeah. Stay completely unfocused at all times, friends.
Oh gosh.
Zach can relate to that. That's where, see, that's more of my speed.
Right.
It's like, 'cause Kim's always like, what the hell are you even talking about? It's like, oh yeah, the first half of that was in my head. Like, okay,
Right.
here's where what happened before I included you in this conversation.
See, I think that's what makes writing interesting, though, in songs. I follow that because, when it's like never underestimate your readers, right? Because they can follow along, and so you can pop in somewhere and just be like, and now we're here. And I think the new book is actually a lot of that. Like, you're just in the scene right now, and it's happening. And people are smart. We know how the world works. As long as you're not working in fantasy, I guess. As long as you're dug into reality, people jump right in with you. Whether you're no matter what setting, people can picture that, and you don't have to really, East of Eden them through it or anything. So, not there's anything wrong with that either. But my brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it gets grating after a while. Of course, as somebody who read all of Cormac McCarthy's books, it still gets grating after a while. It's like the descriptions, like, okay, it's a leaf, man.
I got it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that is very much from the genteel wealthy white society that is considered good writing. And not that there's anything wrong with that kind of writing, but I think as hip hop has shown us, there is a whole other world of incredible writing that does not fit into that idea of describing a blade of grass for 6 pages,
Yeah, it's get to the point. It's why I became a big fan of teen fiction in recent years, because it's like really good narratives without all the flowery prose. It's like, here's the story. You want to know the story? Here it is. And here's all the good stuff.
And when did teen fiction, like young adult, got so popular? Because people stopped dumbing things down for younger people, because they're like, oh, the young adults, they get it. You can just pop in right here, right now. They're on board. They don't need, 14-page chapters of lead up and anything. Like, you can just jump in, and YA is huge, even through a wide reading audience, because it does that. Good young adult does just that. It doesn't underestimate the reader and speak down to them.
Plus, it leaves more for you to imagine, which I like. It's a big thing on any sort of writing or music or anything, is where it's like, I can kind of imagine things outside of it, kind of make it my own. And
you can place yourself in it.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm stepping on you, and it's because
now there's this. I know the good thing with Zoom is there's always that little bit of delay, so it's like, no, you go.
Yeah. So sorry if I step on anyone. I apologize.
Yeah, because we're the reason everyone's listening, not you.
Exactly.
So remember your place and just let us talk, and you find your spot.
Remember that day that Micah won't talk to you anymore?
Well, no, I'm just saying. It's like we're good interviewers. Like we're here today with with Micah, but we're just having this conversation. It's like, oh, dude, you're still here. Oh, yeah. So tell us about.
We got a motorcycle to talk about. So let's get to some more
important things.
That's right.
Things to step on. But I guess that's what we'll start kind of talking with. Is you have the clown watches the clock, which due to the freeze and all of that is still out in limbo. So I was hoping it would show up before the freeze. Like I have 2 days to just tear through this thing, but
not here yet.
Well, I definitely sent it.
I'm sure
every single one.
Oh, he tracks it. He knows where it is.
Oh no, we got the email, but it's just that I was like, damn freeze, it's holding everything up.
It is.
Gotcha. All right, that's good. I have something else to blame.
But we have something, but we haven't read any of it yet. But I mean, you made it through a second book. Like it wasn't just wow.
Yeah. During I had the idea for a while. The title came first, and then it just it developed from there as I kept sitting down with it, and about somebody that the more I say it out loud, the funnier it is. But it's about this person that falls in love with something and dedicates their entire life to it. He dedicates his entire life to being a clown, and he loves doing it. And he loves making people happy. But he's getting older and realizing that joy is not really celebrated in the world anymore. So what is a clown? He's facing 50 in the book, and he's kind of realizing that being a clown hasn't worked out. He never got there to make a decent living from it. So what is he going to do with the rest of his life? What do you do? And I feel like we don't ever hear the stories. We hear the big success stories of like, oh, can you believe this happened? But nobody else really gets to tell theirs. Sometimes we'll get an underdog story of at the last minute they came through and everything turned out great for them. But for most of us, we just fall between the cracks and end up somewhere in the gray middle, right?
Yeah, so. I think that's the thing. It's but I mean, it's good sometimes to have stories that are real life. Because I mean, again, living here in a refinery city, it's like you have the people like, oh, I work all this and I have this big house and big thing. But most of those guys are like, oh, you're 50 and your knee gave out from all this stuff. Well, good luck out there. And it's kind of like, like what?
What do you do? What do all of us do? I don't know. So I thought that was an interesting, it's attractive to me because that's the thing. Those are the people that I know. That's what I see in myself. That's an interesting story to me. Watching someone succeed isn't as, I don't know. I don't need to really hear that or see that anymore. I've seen success for living in the United States of America. We have our kings and queens of the Kardashians and the pop stars and everything. Like, I don't need to read about that, because all of us, we're living these lives, seeing each other, interacting with one another every single day, and we all have these stories, and those are the stories that are interesting to me. I don't need another story of the underdog done good or any shit like that, because it's mostly not true.
It always feels like a cheap it really does. A lot of times it feels like a cheap cop-out where it's just like everything's terrible and I got 35 pages to go, and it's like, all right, now we're gonna sum it all up and now we're done. There it is. What do you think?
Yeah, won the lottery and everything was just fine. See it, all the hard work paid off in the end. It's like that's not how life works. Mostly we just die.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Well, at least that's the thing. You already got the ending of every book written. It's like we die.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. What are the interesting things that happen in between?
Right.
Well, yeah, and I think you are onto something though. I think too many times we feel like when we see all these stories about these people that are successful and stuff, we feel like we'll never be there. Like they've already done it. Like I can't. And so it's nice to see that. Well, shit, this person didn't make it, but that doesn't mean they were a failure. I mean, they still lived and experienced. So I think it's nice. It's nice to hear that side of it, that it doesn't have to end with you, winning the lottery or kicking the game-winning goal. Shit, it may have bounced off the upright and you fade off into obscurity for the rest of your life, but that's okay. That doesn't mean it's a life wasted. So I don't know. I think that's a cool approach to it that I think people need to think more about.
I think you just said that really, really well. That's a great way of saying it, because exactly that. We all have these lives, and like, no, we're not failures, like you said, because we didn't kick the game-winning goal. Like, we existed through another day in these chaotic times that we lived in and maybe we got through one day without hurting anyone or ourselves. That's a victory in all itself.
Right. It's a
all
win.
the stuff that we're going through, like navigating this world, we don't have to be heroes or villains. Like most of us are just existing.
Yeah, and that kind of that commonality that we have by existing really shows that you're not as different as you think you are from the person who may politically believe completely different than you. But there is something that's unifying you both. Live in the same existence, the same time frame. So you have that in common. So there is more in common than there is difference. And I think hearing stories like that relates to like, well, maybe that guy who's an asshole across the street, I'm speaking from personal experience, maybe he's not so different than what I know. He just, we feel we're different because we've been told we're different. And actually, we've both made some shitty decisions in our life, which is why we live across the street from each other.
Right. Or, yeah. Or, a lot of people take those small, what they deem as failures and turn that as anger towards the world instead of internalizing and realizing that everybody's going through it. Instead of going through an outside empathetic look, they internalize and get angry at the rest of the world like they didn't get a shot. And they will demonize one another to.
Because I think like, you mentioned the Kardashians, which I hate the Kardashians just because, let's all be honest, we all know why they're famous, and it's not for the brains, it's for something else. And as a high school teacher, I deal with kids who think that is success. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, do you realize all the things they had to do to get to that level, the things that they had to compromise, the things they had to be okay with giving up? I was like, do you think that's success? I mean, they have money and notoriety, but is it success?
For them, it is.
Vanessa.
Yeah, there's Doug Stanhope had that thing in his book where he did some stuff, and he's like, at what point do I get to say that the only thing you have going for you in life is being fuckable, that's somehow worth less than me being funny? It's like some people, that's it. That's their thing. It's like, at first I tried to make fun of it. He goes, but then I was like, that's their personality. Unfortunately, that's the depth that person goes.
And that's what Vanessa and I have been talking a lot about, especially here in the U.S., of the king and queen culture. Like, yes, we don't have kings and queens, but yes, we very much still have kings and queens, and they look different now, but we worship them the same. And there are people that have nothing who will die for a billionaire from New York City, a fucking liar, piece of shit billionaire from New York City. There are poor people that will fall on his feet and defend him to the death. And why is that? Because he's a fucking king to them. And we're the little servants and the little peasants willing to die for the king. It looks a little different, but it's just a different kind of crown. Right. I feel like we're doing good work here, guys.
Jesus. What was it? Last chat, 51.7% of the Iowa voters agree with you. Right? I
mean, they will die at his feet.
Yeah. It's a weird friggin' culture right now.
But I think
it is.
I don't know. I want to get to into my dark mental, sociological processes where it's like, well, yeah, most people we are pack animals at the end of the day, and you go through any sort of what's the word?
History.
No, I'm saying history of what we are, any sort of primates and things like that. It's definitely the people who are kind of running the things, the ones who kind of like tell me what to do, boss. I'll go do it.
Yeah.
I feel like there are certain people inside, if that's what they want, they just want to be like, go do this.
Oh, absolutely. That's a much easier way to live than having to parse things out and in turn, like, look inside yourself and be like, oh, I actually don't hate this person across from me because of whatever reason I've been told. Like we just spoke 5 minutes ago. Like, we're all dealing with shit. Some people turn that into a sword against everybody, and some people will internalize that and be like, oh, well, how can I be helpful in some kind of way to others?
Which is one of to me, to bring a positive to it, is always one of the most beautiful things about doing artistic things is you're getting out in the world doing stuff. You're seeing people. I mean, being like with you and everything, you've been around the world. You've met people all over. So it gives you a pretty interesting viewpoint when you're out there. Is like, look, man, like I've met people from Amsterdam to England to all over the US, Canada, and it's like, the same idiots are everywhere.
It's but there, as we all know, I think like we have a musical community around that is, and when you see a community actually work, which we don't have a lot of positive role models right now of seeing a community actually work. And I think a music community is one thing we have gotten to see actually be this positive aspect of so many of our lives. That's exciting, and also maybe something that we can take out into our everyday to be like, okay, we've seen how a community can work, and that's how a community should work. So Vanessa and I had a holiday show back in Columbus, Ohio, right before we came out here to California, and we had our community where we get our community together as best as we can. We bring our people together, and we got them all at the show. And there was a bit of a medical emergency. A person passed out, went down, and our friend Dick Cummings from outside, he's from Elgin, Illinois. He was there at the show, and he's a firefighter, and he came over to help the person to make sure they were all right. right. And that was such a small, beautiful little moment of like, this is community. This is how it works when it's just a confined space of a little 100 people, but in that small community, we are gathered around here to take care of one another, whether it's to cheer for one another or to take care of one another. That's how a community can work. And that's a positive aspect of this beautiful music community that I think all of us are a part of.
Yeah, it kind of makes you like some, more leaning, I guess, more socialist leanings, because you're like, you see people just working for a goal. I mean, what you do, you see these groups of people, it doesn't matter. We're not expecting, I mean, you hope like maybe it'll help you pay your bills or anything, but at the end of the day, we're all coming together to create this thing more or less for the act of creating the thing together. If it goes somewhere, great. But the first goal is we're just doing this together. We're going to make this thing. We're all going to be a part of it. And whatever comes, the goal is to create this, this object or this song. Or
Right. And so many of these words like socialists and whatever have been like so twisted and demonized. It's like religion at this point. You can't even trying to use those words shut some people down and whatever.
That's why I kind of stuttered for a second. Yeah. Cause it's
I get it. I get it.
The real use of the word, not the demonized.
Right. And exactly. But true community in action is, I mean, socialism or whatever, but it's like just taking care of one another. Jesus's whole trip was taking care of people, and somehow that got twisted
skewed.
On its end,
skewed just a little bit.
Just a little.
But yeah, I mean, that's something we talked about with Rock Bottom is that as you doing music, you're touring and things like that, you start building those communities across your touring paths. The more you go through, and like we're talking about, like they said they broke down in the middle of Kansas, and a friend of a friend came, picked them up, took them in for the night, made sure they were taken care of, and that's how this works. And it's like, I wish more people could see that, because then they realize like I'm not asking for anything to help anyone out. It's just like you're suffering, you need help, whatever it is. That's just part of being a human. And I wish more people would see that and not worry about, well, who did you vote for? What do you believe in? Or that doesn't mean shit. I mean, if someone's in need, help them. That's just what we should do it.
Right. And I think that's like you said, that's a beautiful thing of this artistic thing that we do, is it kind of a lot of times snaps all that, gets all that other stuff away. And like I was just did a run. It was supposed to be Vanessa and I, and she got sick right before, so she couldn't go. And I did these 3 shows down in Southern California, and I don't know how many people reached out to me, of people that I knew well, people I didn't know so well, but everybody reached out to me being like, are you okay? What do you need? Do you need a place to stay? Do you need food? Do you need whatever? Just like there's a lot of people that I only know loosely, but we have this musical connection, and they feel safe and want to reach out to just help in any way they can. And that's something that I don't think exists, at least as far as I know, a lot of other places. And we're so fortunate to have it in this art, through this artistic connection that we all have, and that is a special thing. And I've been talking a lot about the book because it's about being a failure in a capitalistic society, which I am. I have a complete and total failure at it, and it's hard to navigate that in the art world and everything. But on the other side, I'm not a failure because I know you all. We have this community that we're speaking about that have lifted me up, and me and Tukal and Shane and everybody up, and Vanessa, so many times throughout, which I don't know where I would be without that community.
Yeah, it's definitely more, I always consider art and music way more pinball than anything you could win. You just try to go as long as you possibly can.
I love that.
It's awesome.
Right.
I mean,
that's
it's
perfect.
Like a percentage of a percentage point are the ones that are like, yeah, did it, retired, sold all my records, I'm going to sit at home.
Yeah, I love that. If you're still, that ball's still in play, you are success, baby.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, what you're going on like 25 years of being a musician pretty much full time. Yeah. So, it's like that ball's been in there. You have to go crawl into, you don't have to go get your state job and do all that.
Is there a state hiring that you know of?
Right. I might be able to get you on at Public Works. It's not too bad.
Sorry, I hope that didn't go too far off of rails or anything.
No. I think that's great because that's kind of the point. I mean, that's the whole reason we're doing this, is because it's trying to get the community. No one do what we can to get the word out about our community. It's like the whole point. No one's doing it. I had like a little minor bit of schooling I did to get all my journalism courses. Damn it, put them to use.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Never able to use them in a real, an official thing outside like a website in the 90s, early 2000s, so it's like, damn it, let's do something with this.
Right. Are you all, do you have any shows you're playing right now, or are you guys relaxed for a minute?
Yeah, we're playing a few this month, couple, and then we're taking February off. I think I'm going to have some teeth ripped out and stuff.
Oh, no.
Fun.
Yeah, you know.
I've been there. I get that.
And then March, the new record's coming out, and so we're going to play a bunch.
Awesome.
Then.
Good.
And then
Good.
I think we're doing some touring probably in June and August.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, you know, we're working on it. It's still, we're still at that manic point of, booking where it's like 40 emails are out and like nothing's come back. And it's like, oh, but once that one hits, you're like, yeah,
Isn't that so funny? It's like the world can feel like complete chaos and you're like, none of this is working. Everything is F. And then you get like one confirmation. You're like, oh, this makes total sense. I can do this.
I can build this.
Yeah, we just need, I can build this. One show on the end, one show on the other end. We're great. Yeah.
I got it.
They like me. They really like me.
You're right. Or they'll at least tolerate me for 40 minutes.
Exactly.
Nice in recent years, we've been doing a lot of stuff with our friends in that Grifters and Chills, which are killer.
Yeah.
But we play with them a lot, and it's like easier to go out and tour with people from your hometown scene, do stuff together.
Yeah.
But it is doubly. Me and John are equally manic, so it's bad. It's kind of like there's the highs are double high, the lows are double low. Maybe we should quit, dude. Like all this stuff's going on.
I'm a
It's
fraud.
like we
You guys
suck.
hit that
No
same
one likes
low.
us.
Yeah.
We should.
Oh yeah, we call that 4 p.m. in our household.
Right.
Every single day. What have I done and why are we doing this?
Right. They finally figured out we don't belong here. Damn it. Finally got found out that I'm a scam. I'm just a fraud. So that's I think it's good to know that everybody goes through that. And
Absolutely. I don't think that ever goes away at any level.
I hope not. That's part of the fun. Like I said, I always tell them music's the one thing where it's like all these years later, it's like the highs when they hit, I'm like, this just is good. Like this is the greatest I've ever felt, period. Like this happened.
Right.
Everything went perfect tonight. The 12 people that were there were totally fucking into it.
Mm-hmm. That's all it takes.
Yeah. It's like, we played in front of 100 people yesterday. It's like, and none of them gave a fuck.
Yeah.
They were there because that's a sick bar. They weren't there because of us.
Right.
They're like, we'll pay the $5 cover because we hang out here every Saturday. And it's like,
yeah, there's the worst. Shane and I always joke about it, but like the worst shows we've ever played have been the best paying ones.
Yeah, we always talk about that. We play the shows that pay really well so we can play the shows where people give a shit and it doesn't pay anything.
Yeah, but you are not alone. That's the way it shakes out.
Always.
It's great. It's great to know.
It's not just us. Good.
No.
So one thing I'm looking at, I did see, because I pulled up because I could not remember. I kept wanting to say, but that's the song. I couldn't remember the song or not. So you had the first novel, Hello, My Name is Henry. I kept wanting to say Adam, but that was the song.
Yeah.
And then this one, and I just looked them up. They're both sold out. Like you sold out of both editions of your book.
Yeah. What just the printing has been a little behind, and it was good. Like we did a really good pre-order, and it's just me, so I had to like ship all those out. By the time we got them shipped out and some more orders in, and I went and did these shows, and fortunately they jumped right off the table. So we're out for right now, and I had to put sold out so that I didn't get a bunch of orders and get behind.
Yeah,
I figured
wait 3 months for the
so I didn't want to be sending that email out to folks. So yeah, I'm hoping to get the new shipment here in the next week, and then we'll be back up in business. So good and bad thing. The brand new thing isn't available right now, but it's because it went well off the bat, so that's good.
Yeah,
that's definitely a good problem to have.
Yeah, frustrating, but it is nice. Yeah.
It's like there's that old commercial where like when they started like a tech startup and they're like watching the hit counter where it's like, dude, we got this. They just started going nuts. Like, we can't fill these orders. Like it's kind of like that. It's like, dude, this is great. It's like, oh shit. Like, not prepared for this level of success.
Well, just being the only person that's doing the shipping was pretty intense. And then the original pre-order got delayed, so I felt bad. So once the books finally came in, like I just put my head down and just went through all those pre-orders and sent them all out in like 48 hours. And it was, it was brutal, but happy that they're all out. And again, it's a bummer to not have the book available right now, but it'll be back up in a week or so. And
that's kind of the
way
to
make a big to-do about it.
Kind of the way it's been going in recent years. Like, what was our album? 4 months late showing up, the vinyl version. Yeah. And it's kind of like, sorry, everybody, sorry. And then this one, we were supposed to, we're like already almost 2 months past the promise date. And it's like, okay, we set all of our release stuff like 4 months after the date's supposed to be done. And we're like, oh God, now we're down to 6 weeks. And it's like, oh God.
We may not have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They still promise we will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's brutal. It's brutal. And like doing this all ourselves, there's nobody else's money on the line aside from the pre-order, but like, it's like me owing people money, but me also fronting the money for everything. So it's like, I have a new record done, but I can't start a pre-order to do that. I didn't want to do that while I was still holding on to people from the pre-order for the book.
Right.
So I had to wait until I got all that out until I could maybe start introducing the new record here shortly.
So cool. That's the question.
So much talent.
Yeah,
I know.
Now we're coming.
Nobody said anything about talent. Again, short bursts. No one says it's any good. It's just a matter of short bursts. Lots of short bursts every day.
Sorry, sir. I've seen you play live. I beg to differ.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
Funny because if you look over next to Kim, there's our current like physical albums and everything. So we still have everything sitting in our music room. Like whole time we're recording this last album, we're looking over at the 110 records that are still sitting there. Like, well,
Still got records.
you know, you want to have stock, right?
Oh yeah, baby. I got bins and bins of Two Cow Garage records. It's all right.
Because
we do it.
We have office space for all of that.
Yeah.
Here at the Barker
that's a win.
Mansion.
T-shirts are underneath the drum set.
Yeah.
So you know,
That's
it's like
how it
all that
goes.
stuff. You know,
That's where they go. That's where they go.
that's how it works. So that said, so you got, you said you already finished recording a new album?
Yeah. The record's done. We did it really fast because of the tight financial situation, but it went really well. We recorded it in Columbus, Ohio, actually at our guitar player, Jay Gasper's. We did it at his house.
Oh, nice.
And then we had a mobile engineer come and capture it all. And he did a great job. So we did it in 3 days.
Oh, wow.
We did it. Then we sent it off. I kind of put the guys in a bit of a situation because I was like, all right, we've got 3 days to do this. Vanessa and I were going to be on tour. I was like, so we're going to have 2 rehearsals and then we're going to go record these songs. But they are all pros and did an incredible job. And then, it happened really fast because then I talked with with Vanessa and I's friend, Frank Turner, and he agreed to mix it and master it. So as soon as we finished recording, we sent that off to Frank, and he is an animal for work, and he ended up mixing and mastering it in like a week. And sent everything back. So it finished up way faster than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to take a lot more time. But then I've been sitting on it because, like I said, I didn't want to ask people for money for another project when I still owed them the book. So but the new record is the same. It's the same title as the book, so it'll be called "The Clown Watches the Clock."
All right.
Nice.
Sweet. Kind of like a companion piece, soundtrack to the book.
I think so. I think it all works because it was all written during that pandemic time, and it's. I think it's looking back on it now. It's obviously me grappling with the fact of getting older and what the hell do you if you didn't? As with the book, what do you do when you dedicated your entire life to something and it didn't really pan out? What does that look like? This is what it looks like on Tuesday afternoon.
I mean, you can look around at places everywhere where there's people we knew. I always go back to like one of my favorite singer-songwriters, like badass musicians, this dude Malcolm Holcomb, and it was still up until now, I guess we got lung cancer, but up until then it was still just, I'm in my car by myself, driving around the country, posting up. Right. Can I play here? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do this. And the dude's like, phenomenal, and it's just like still doing it. So, it's that whole 8 to 5, like, I'm doing it 6-7 days a week at work.
Right. At this point, what the hell else am I going to do?
Right.
True.
That's a lot of people. It's like, what other skills do I have? Like I've spent all my time of learning other skills doing this. So
I'm too old to strip and my feet aren't that cute.
You never know, man. You never know.
It's true.
It's not all about cute feet.
No.
There's someone for all of us,
We've seen his feet. We toured together. It's not.
So what you're saying, my feet are marketable, Kim?
For which direction are we marketing in?
I don't
Whatever
know.
pays the bill.
That's where I feel weird. We all share a room usually on the road, but I've never looked at Hell's feet.
I don't really pay attention either. I'm just giving him shit.
If you weren't always ow, my foot, look at it. I would never know what your feet look like. So
they're nice, I guess.
I'm not your demographic, apparently, but that's okay.
Apparently not.
It's because he's 6'5". He doesn't really look that far down. It's fine.
But so at this point, like you're kind of juggling a bit. So like, you're doing 2Cal still, at least on paper, still technically an entity. You're still doing your stuff. You're doing, playing guitar for Call Me Rita, writing books. You are a sales and marketing machine for Micah Schnabel Enterprises.
Yeah, right.
LLC.
Yes.
LLC.
Micah Schnabel Inc.
But, it's got to be, I'm guessing what I'm trying to get at is like, you do a lot. So is it just more for personal reference? Is it finding the time to keep creating? Like, that's the thing when you're doing all this stuff. Like, I know for me personally, it's like, where the hell do I sit down and pick up a pen and start writing anything?
Yeah. That's, for better or worse, that's what I've dedicated my life to, and that's just what I do. So my everyday is picking the pen up and writing down every little dumb thought that pops into my head, and then moving through that. So there's all this time, right? There's still plenty of time for all these things. There's a new 2Cal record written. It's just a matter of, again, financial limitations and finding the time to make that record. We wanted to make that record in 2020, but obviously the world kind of fell apart. So now with everything that's been shaken up, it's like finding the time to get everybody together to make that record and then put it out is difficult, just because we're adults with everything. But as far as creating every day, that's what I've sacrificed for. I've sacrificed the financial, any comfortable financial situation. What I receive in return for that is my everyday is just making songs. Today I have, I do the personalized songs for people and stuff. Like today I have to finish recording one of those, and my days are focused on making my work and doing that work, and I love it. And it's the only thing that ever has fulfilled me. That and touring are things that fulfill me in a way that I've never found anything else to do. And again, I trade the financial. I don't have the financial comfortableness of a regular job, but I get to create every single day, and that's my main thing. So I can't even imagine. I have so much love and respect for so many of my friends that work 9 to 5s, or any kind of job, work these full-time jobs, and then create on top of that. That is absolutely incredible to me. I always think of my friend, obviously think of you all, and like my friend Jeremy Porter up in Michigan. Yeah. Like he works his butt off, and he has his job, and he's always still out on the road, making records, doing the thing. And so many of my friends do that. And I have the utmost love and respect for that, because I feel like that takes even more determination than someone like me. My determination is like figuring out money stuff, but I have that time to create, to make stuff.
I want to say, I think I remember reading you actually just talking about it during the pandemic on social media about how you made it. It's your job. It's your everyday. So that's what you do as your 8 to 5. May not be 8 to 5, but that's what you're doing every day. Yeah,
that's absolutely. Yeah. And I love it. So having that kind of worker mentality, like I don't have any like I deserve something and I'm going to drink all day and hang out. I tried that. I wasn't very good at it, but I kind of look at it as a worker, and I love my work. So I get to get up every day and do that work, and that also allows me to throw away a lot of stuff that's not great. It's not good, I think, because I make a lot, or at least write a lot of stuff down. It makes it easier to throw away stuff, and it makes it, I think, makes the work tighter, and hopefully a little bit better in quality.
Yeah, well, and I think what's interesting is you're not the only person I've heard of the whole, like, when it comes to writing, you have to kind of treat it, we hate to say it, but you have to treat it like a job. There was an interview recently with Gavin Rossdale of Bush, and he said the same thing. It's like he realized kind of early on, like, if I'm going to do this, I have to commit to doing it and treat it like this is what's going to keep me going forward. So I need to, not effectively clock in, clock out, but that needs to be my focus for the day. It's like, hey, I'm a writer. I have to write. I have to do this. And it's kind of interesting. It's cool to hear it from another point of view. Like, hey, it's the same thing. It's like, it doesn't matter how prolific you are. You still have to put in that time, because it sounds like everyone's like, oh, you have the best life ever. You just get to write music all day and be creative. And it's like, right. Yeah, it's not like that. It is a job. And and I think if more people realize like creative endeavors like that are our jobs, maybe they would be less likely to be like, oh, here comes that, that kid who's going to major in art. Oh, way to throw away your life. Because as someone who majored in a hobby in college, people are like, oh, great, you're going to major in art. And it's like, well, yeah, but I'm going to make a difference somehow. I'll be creative. Right. I'll create things, or maybe I'll inspire others. And so now I'm going into 20 years of being a teacher, and that's what I do is and from that, I've got kids all over the world who do amazing things, and I'm kind of that link to them. And so, yeah, it's one of those things that, yes, creative endeavors, while they are fun, they are also a form of career and they are a job.
Right. Well, I think a really poisonous idea that has been sold specifically in music is the idea of the lightning strike of, well, when the lightning struck me and it worked, it came through me, and people say that, and I'm just like, that's not how human bodies work or being a human works. And I understand you're just romanticizing it because it's easier to do that than it is to actually look it in the eye. So if you're only going to write when the lightning strikes or something comes through you, you're going to have 4 songs at the end of your life. And maybe one of them makes you a little bit of money. But if that's your focus, then you can wait for your lightning strike all day long. Go for it. But if you want to actually get good at the thing that you claim to care about, you have to sit down and do the work. And you can't just sit here and wait for the almighty of whatever, the lightning to strike you once again and to write this song made of magic. And that's not how the world works.
See, kids, do the work, kids. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is tough to do that because, like, we were working on this album, like, I guess between the last 2, we had written enough, but not enough good ones, I don't feel like, to make like 10 full songs. We had like 13 recorded, and it was like, we need one more good one. And so I went back through some texts. My friend Ben and I used to email and text song ideas. I'd love to say it was an even endeavor. He would normally, 99% of them was just like, Ben would be like, hey, I've got this idea, here's a line. But it was amazing. Once I got that prompt, it was like, all right, here's like 6 different verses that I could see possibly work with this verse.
Right.
And then it was just like, bam. And then he would send stuff back, and we'd have like a hymnal. We'd have like 35 verses. And,
right.
Like, but it definitely made it. Like, some of my best writing periods were those where it was like other people were around and you're kind of doing it every day.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know we kind of got into that with other episodes. People like consider using the word competition as a dirty word, but it's not really competition. Like, I'm trying to win. It's more of that, if this dude's going to bring this song, oh shit, I really have got to do something because I can't show up, here's the same song from 3 weeks ago, 1, 2, 3. And it's like,
I mean, I'm in a band with Shane Sweeting, who for my money is one of the best songwriters ever. So I think that's been such a positive thing for our artistic relationship, is like, I know what he's going to do. I can't walk in with the same song I had, like you said, 3 weeks ago, or the one for, here's an old one that sounds just like, or a new one that sounds like the old one. Like, that's, right. It's not competition, but it's like, I got to show up, like I got to show up for the game. I can't just, whatever. So absolutely, with the healthy, like you said, I don't know if the word is competition, but just wanting to,
I think there's different levels of competition. Like, there's things that's like healthy, like, hey, it's like, I don't know, going playing horse with your friend where it's not going to end in fist fights or someone hoisting a trophy. It's just like, do right, you're having fun, but at the end of the day, you kind of want to do better. But at least have them push you to where it's like, I don't want to be pathetic, so I want to come out here and practice more. Some people, I'm gonna say it, I'm one of those people, like, I function better when I have something there to be like, okay, I don't have to be better than them, but I can't show up and be like, yeah, man, like, I didn't do anything. Like, you've been working all week. I just showed up and was like, man, whatever. This song I wrote 6 years ago was good enough.
Right. When the lightning struck me 6 years ago, then it came through me. I've got this song.
No, and that's kind of the punchline to that is we used to do things where we're going to write a song a week. I know people are like, well, it's stupid. It's like, well, yeah, it kind of is, because none of them ever made, the songs that made it out of that were like, oh, here was this entire song I wrote, but these 3 lines in the first verse were usable. This bridge was cool. And then I rewrote the entire song, music, chord progression and all. But if I'd never taken the time to push myself to go like, all right, once a week I have to write an entire song, I would have been like you said, lightning's coming any moment now.
right. Yeah, and learning to break that fear of putting the pen to paper, of actually writing something, That's, I always got so frustrated with people that would tell me this big plan of these things they were going to do. They were going to do this. They were going to do that. And so many folks just never do anything. That's why I was like, well, I try not to talk about it till it's done now, because I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do the thing. And And yeah, but you allowing yourself, just from the repetition of it, you get in the pattern and the rhythm of writing things down. Oh, that's a good idea. Write it down. Write it down. Where a lot of people will be like, oh, that's a good idea. Then they kind of go about their day. And a lot of people get caught in that. And then they want to talk about these ideas that they had, but not never bringing anything into fruition. So if you work with yourself to practice on writing those little ideas down, sit down with them, make something bad, throw it away. And then when that lightning does strike and hit you, you'll be prepared for it and be able to handle it in a better manner than you would if you weren't practicing your craft.
True. Very true.
Yeah, no, you don't be afraid to get that notebook dirty. Because I remember I used to always be like, well, no, I want to look, when someone opens this and they'll be like, oh, wow, look at how organized. And then one of my most brilliant professors I had at U of H used to carry, like, it looked a little bit bigger, almost like the ones like a reporter would carry, like flip thing, and he'd open it, and it looked like nobody else on earth could decipher a thing in there, because it was just like
total
random
massacre
ideas, and oh yeah, I'm working on a paper, you brought that up, that's a good, and it would just be like circled on a page of other scribble, and then it would show up somewhere, and I was just like, okay, I don't have to have this pristine workplace work. As you can see, I don't need that anymore. So
no, you can make the pristine notebook after the record's done and make a real nice one and put it on the bookshelf, and you can do that to have it there. But the act of creating is dirty.
Yeah, you gotta get in there.
Yes,
beat it out.
Agreed.
That's the scary part, being done with a new record. It's like, gotta write again.
I'm gonna do another one.
No, gotta get back to that work. Which I guess I don't know. Maybe it'd be healthy to do it all the time instead of just.
That's part of why I'm taking this humanities class this semester, because I wanted to write more.
Really? Mm-hmm. Again, it's just, I think, breaking down that fear of ourselves. You know, I always, this is a quote from somebody else, but I have no idea who it was at this point, but it's like the act of creation, it's like always tricking ourselves into being ourselves, or the constant act of tricking ourselves into being ourselves is all it is, you know, and we're always looking for these little excuses or ideas. And again, the lightning bolt is one little trick that we play on ourselves to be like, oh, it moved through me, so I allowed myself to write this down, you know, when the truth is that's just a block we put into ourselves to justify not doing the work.
Yeah, well, and I think there's so many people who don't, if you don't do it a lot, you don't realize it is work, that it's a lot of revision, that it's not just, like you said, that lightning strike. It's an idea that you scribbled down, and then maybe you actually wrote it down in your notebook, and then you developed it for a few weeks as you kind of tried to start, you know, it takes work.
Or just, absolutely. Even that work is just like writing, like you said, writing it down in your notebook, looking at it once a day, and just seeing it still there, and letting your subconscious kick it around and everything. Like, it doesn't have to, it's not like you have to put on your miner's helmet and sit down and dig, you know. It's just like that constant, like, seeing, oh, there's that idea. Yeah, your subconscious is going to kick it around and work on it, and that's going to allow you to come to when you are ready to sit down, come to the table with something more prepared than if you aren't in the practice of doing it.
I didn't know we were going to get all this writing advice today. I'm excited.
No, but it's good, because I mean, really.
Oh, Jesus, please don't. Not advice.
No,
I'm not advising anybody.
Well, it's more of just the best advice you can get, like unconsciously just laying out someone else laying out their method for you.
Yeah.
Where they're not trying to sell you anything. It's not like, hey, for $200, we'll do a songwriting class. You can get on here and I'll tell you, you got to have a bridge and you got to move it. To have a real hit song, we have to, on that last verse, we have to move up a half step. You have to have the, what's it called?
Well, a modulation.
No, but Kim's always like that.
The key change.
A key change, yeah. Which normally to me is like, I think Surrender's the only song with a key change that doesn't just like, fuck the song and turn it off.
Oh, right.
I'm not a key change fan.
Yeah. You got to be careful with those because they get cheesy real fast.
Yeah.
And for $149.99, you can join me in my master's class every Wednesday.
Right.
That's just
at the downtown Sheridan Ballroom.
At the downtown, that's right.
But one thing
next to the Jamba Juice.
I'd brought up when we interviewed Shane last year. I talked about it's not having the fear, I guess, not to grow and change and do your thing. Because I mean, if you put on "Turn the Heat Back On, Please" versus like "Brand New Flag," it'd be like, this is like the vocal.
Not the same band.
It's probably the singer from that band's new band or something. But it's basically stayed. The songwriting core has stayed the same.
Yeah.
And it's just it's just not necessarily night and day. But I mean, y'all had no fears of progressing. Like there was no maybe y'all did. Maybe y'all had arguments in your practice space, like, why are we doing this? But it didn't seem like it wasn't you and Shane both writing, that it never seemed like a point where it's like, I don't know, you can put on an Uncle Tupelo record and you can kind of feel the pull. Like there are two dudes who are that the Y and the road has happened. And y'all both seem like when a Shane song hit or your song hit, they still kind of hit with the same thing at the same time. Like y'all kind of played off each other really well.
Yeah. And the older I get, I've always been thankful, and I think I'm very appreciative of that relationship, of Shane and I's relationship. But the older I get, the more special it becomes, I think, because we never had to have any of that conversation or anything. I mean, the band started when I was 19. So some songs on that first record were written when I was in high school, you know? Yeah. So there's a challenge to that in trying to talk about Two Cow Garage because, you know, I wrote some of those songs in high school. I'm 41 years old, you know? Yeah. So like the other night I was in San Diego and somebody asked for a song from the first record and I played it. But I'm 41. So I was in high school a long time ago. So anyway, my relationship with Shane and the creation, like we were very fortunate that the growth was never, it was always understood that we were going to grow and try to write the best songs that we could. There was a short time after the second record where I brought it up to Shane of like, because I had noticed myself, I was trying to rewrite the song 135 on our second record. People had really liked, and I think in my head, I got into my head a little bit, and I was like, I recognized that I was trying to write the next one of those. Yeah. And I realized I was like, oh, that's a bad road. That's a bad road of trying to rewrite yourself, because that I think it's probably better commercially, and like in all sincerity, I think it would have been probably more beneficial for the band financially and commercially to have stayed in the direction of where we started. But that also would have led to a road of, so what, even if we found some more success in that, it would have been a trapping because it wouldn't be the thing that we are actually wanting to do. The nice thing about Two Cow Garage and the lack of commercial success is there's never been a question of just doing whatever it is we wanted to do because nobody was making a living off of it. So we could just do what we want because we love it and we wanted to do it.
Which is, you know, it's just sit here for that moment of silence where it's just like, fuck, the fact that it never was, you know, because I don't care. Even before I really knew y'all, man, that run from 3 to Sweet Saint Me was like this huge progression, like really quick. And just like, those were 3 albums that were just fucking stellar.
That means a lot to me. Thank you.
And it's just like the songwriting was there, everything. I think it kind of hit where both of y'all were kind of, those are the 3 albums where the two of you, don't get me wrong, since then it's been the same way, but that was kind of the tipping point where it kind of became a 2-person band, 2-songwriter band that really did start getting more. And it was just like, shit, man, like they're firing on all cylinders with this one, you know, with these.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel Shane and I have always thrown our Molotov cocktails out and not at one another. Whereas Uncle Tupelo threw theirs at one another.
Yeah, well, I just feel like a lot of bands when they have 2 different people, especially starting out at that age, you know, when you start growing, more times than not, you know, I deal with a kid who's 24 now, and it's like, well, my friends don't really that I had from high school, and it's like, dude, I have like 2 or 3 friends from high school I keep in touch with. It's like that's just how it goes. Like when you do something when you're young, more often than not, you enjoy the moments your road goes the same, but someone's going to exit off, and it's just the way it goes. You may run into each other again, so it's pretty interesting that, you know, y'all kind of stayed on a similar path, and like that actually happened, that y'all got where like your songwriting remained compatible and y'all remained compatible as human beings.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things that you don't think about it when you're younger, obviously, but as I get older, I'm just more and more appreciative of that relationship. And that we have stayed on that same path. And there's this underlying love and respect that is never questioned by, I think I can speak for Shane on this, say that it's never questioned by either of us. So even if there is a difference in opinion or a thought or an idea of a song or what shows to do or anything like that, like there's always this baseline of love and respect that is understood and always cared for by both of us. Like not just cared for in this generic saying, but like day-to-day caring for it and showing up for one another and being there, even just text messaging as friends. There's a bottom baseline of love and respect at all times, artistically and friendship-wise and personally, that has always been there, and I believe will always be there for the both of us, no matter what roads go.
It's super cool. I mean, you know, a lot of bands wouldn't survive. Like, you know, you're both doing solo releases, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, new Two Cow song out. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like it's super cool that it's like, okay, man, like y'all are doing your own thing, but then at the same time, it's like somewhere along the line you wrote a song and you're like, okay, this would be better if I brought this over here. And
yeah, I think I made that mistake of doing that a little bit for a while, of being like, oh, these are 2Cal songs and these are like acoustic guitar songs, and I X'd that out too because I thought that was not a good way to go either. It's like as the songs come up, that's where they go. So if the song gets written and we're in 2Cal Garage cycle, it's a 2Cal Garage song, and let's see what happens when we put it into that machine. So, yeah, 2Cal Garage is when Shane Sweeney and I make music together. That's what that's called, you know. So maybe it's more of a I don't know. I mean, it's a band, but it's a undying love club.
What?
Maybe too. You know?
Yeah, at this point, it's almost like a testament to friendship. It's like the fact that y'all can go do your own things for a while. Then it's just like, hey, dude, what you up to? You want to hang out? You want to jam? Like, oh yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's record some songs.
It's something people can't take from us. You know, even again, like not ever really finding any success financially or commercially. Like, what? Fuck off. Like, it's ours and we love it, you know. It's ours and we love it and we take care of it and we care for it.
But like you said, it led to a lot of things. Like, I mean, there's not just for you, but just for people. I mean, let's be real. Like, a lot of the stuff that happens around, like stuff like Whitewater and holiday hangouts, stuff like that, is everyone just like, that's a lot of like 2Cal people that met each other through your band.
Yeah. You know, I see things. Sometimes I'll see like some of them are like friends from the countryside, like meeting up with our punk rock friends and stuff. And I'm like, I know where that connection got made, and I know it was through us. And there's not much that warms my heart more than seeing stuff like that and seeing the things that we did, the little effects that we had on people and we've had on our little world. And that makes me really happy, and that's a form of success that I carry with me.
Yeah, it's interesting in that regard. I mean, you know, we played with y'all 2010, like my old band, and then y'all met some people like Mark Potter there and a couple other folks from like the Houston scene who came out.
Was that the place upstairs?
Yeah, Rudyard. Yeah,
Rudyard Kipling's
came up to a couple of shows after that, and then it just kept like, you know, I think we ended up playing with those Crosstown Rivals because of that. They're like, oh, we gotta play with 2Cal, we'll hit y'all up. So then we got to know Minx and them, and then that. So here's how fucking weird that goes. So we play with those Crosstown Rivals. That's how I met Jet. We got to do a bunch of touring through like Lexington and stuff due to that. Then they met Grizzly, which is Health's old band, which actually played the show with us at Rudyard's, but Health wasn't in the band yet. And then they became like best buds ever. And we played with Grizzly. And then when Grizzly broke up, we took Health and he came and played with us. So this is like a what is it, Kevin Bacon kind of thing, where it's like, if we never played that show with 2Cal Garage, like this never would have happened. Like all of these connections never would have been made.
I love it. I love that.
So this podcast exists because in 2010 we played a show with 2Cal Garage. Never put it together until now. But
send those sweet Spotify royalties to www.
Micah Schnabel LLC.
Send you those. Well, we're gonna put this in one of my shell companies here. So
Well, I think it falls under the finders keepers rule of. Oh man, but it's fucking weird the way it all works out and how it really does become. I mean, you know, even it's like this weird incestuous thing where everybody's like, oh, you know them, then I know them, and you do this and you know that, and blah blah blah.
And again, go to pull it back, a callback to the community and how community is made, and you end up sleeping at people's houses and people looking after you and making sure you're okay when you're out doing the thing, because that's what the community does.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. So, all right. On that note, we're real close to the hour mark, so we're going to send it to Hell for the final question.
Yeah.
All right, final question time. All right, give us a list of 3 to 5 musicians, singer-songwriter bands, can be local, can be big, that you think people need to hear and know more about.
This record, there's a record that came out, I think it came out in mid 2023, and it's just one of those records that you hear and you're like, this has to be huge, right? And it's not. The guy's name is Hugo Muti. He's from Montreal. He played in a band called St. Catherine, a punk band called St. Catherine's back in the day. He had he's had other bands along the way, but he put out a solo record just it's called under the name Muti, M-U-D-I-E, from Montreal, and the record is incredible, and it's in French. And I do not speak French. but that's how good these choruses are and how amazing this record is it's in French and the choruses are just undeniable. And now I know a little bit of French because I sing along to the choruses. But I can't recommend that record high enough to everybody. Can I look at my Spotify real quick? Is that cheating?
Yeah, no,
you're totally cool.
And I cut all the dead air out. So
we just.
I will say, like, I know a lot of older musicians I talk to. They're like, I don't listen to music anymore. Like, I listen to music all day, every single day, constantly looking at listening to new stuff every single day. So. Yes, I recently stumbled on the hip hop artist King Fantastic. I don't think he needs the props right now. Our back home, the band Garbage Greek, who the drummer plays for Vanessa's band Call Me Rita. He also played drums on my new solo record, and he plays in this band called Garbage Greek with our friend Lee. And back home, and they are incredible, just super tight. I guess I would call it pop. I hate to call it pop rock, but just super catchy rock songs. Incredible band, and I highly recommend going and checking them out. That's a great spin on that. And there's so many people that I want to say, but I'm torn. Can I say listen to Richmond Fontaine if you're going for old school? Just go listen to Richmond Fontaine. You should really do that. Blackalicious doesn't need the hype. Waxahachie doesn't need the hype. Trying to call somebody out that would benefit from a few spins, and everybody here listens to y'all probably, so they know about y'all. I guess I'll stop there. Let me think. I'm trying to think of one more thing that's great that people should listen to. I'm looking through Jump Back In. Oh, I don't know. I give up. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Those are three that I can think of. But go listen to new music because it's so good for your brain.
Agreed.
100%.
I'm always going through new stuff. That's one good thing about doing this, man. But a lot of people name stuff, and it's like, I'll go check that out. I'm like, I'll just listen to it, see what I think. And then sometimes it's like, so I'll listen to for the last week. It's like this band.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I'm feeling terrible right now. I'm going to be so angry with myself when we finish this up, and I'm going to think of 10 different people.
Right.
Our friend Guillaume. Our friend Guillaume is from Montreal, also Guilhem. Just under that, go listen to Guillaume. He writes songs in French and English, but incredible songwriter. And you can listen to Mucus. They're from Columbus. They're great.
Nice.
There's so many. Gosh, yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'll
Columbus
stop.
has a pretty solid scene.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much good stuff out of there. Just steer clear of the Christian rock. Don't do that. That's bad for everybody.
I'm going to toss in another Columbus great one, man. It's Ghost Shirt's a great band that people
No,
check
but
out.
yeah, geez, yeah.
But I mean,
yeah.
people down here in Texas, people listen, they have no idea, so it's a good one to know.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, Columbus has a bad rash of Christian music that comes out of it from all the mega churches. I don't know if y'all have that too, but it's very offensive to my
mega
taste.
church, sir.
Yeah, we have
What's
the
that?
one.
So we have the mega church.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You've got the guy.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Summit is now the Lakewood Church. Driving by, it's always the creepiest thing in the world. Yeah.
That's Mr. Osteen, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
We saw so many good shows there when we were kids, and now it's a weird mega church.
No.
What was it before?
The Summit, it was where the Rockets played.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so we have a church that is in the original home of the Houston Rockets.
And I saw Def Leppard play there when I was a teen.
Did you really?
Yes, yeah.
Slayer
Did somebody
played there.
write that? Have you guys written that song yet?
Oh, God.
We should.
It's kind of one of those things you don't even want to admit. You're just like, just don't look.
Where's
Just
my
don't.
idea book?
Right?
right. Write that one down.
I don't even know my
Oh,
Oh
my God.
my goodness. That's right.
Yeah,
the
just
official
like-
megachurch.
Yeah.
Oh.
But luckily we don't, not that I know of, I don't think we have any weird Christian contemporary music artists coming out of Lakewood.
Oh, you probably
Oh, we
do.
do,
They're
we
they're
do.
around because they can play these mega churches, and these mega churches will give these like young bands like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to just go around and play these mega churches as long as they write songs that sound just like songs you hear on the radio, just
Right.
Christian friendly.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing that I'm on right now, so I'll stop myself right now.
Right.
Well, you know what's interesting
yeah.
is I grew up in that kind of a non-denominational church thing, and that's how I first saw like this mega artist now, of course, but back then he was touring tiny churches in like Port Arthur, Texas. Stephen Curtis Chapman. They just make a network of churches and like go from
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, there's
you see him in
big
like
money.
a tiny exactly. So
You guys want to start a Christian band, make some money?
Right.
Come on.
It's always like the.
I would have passed. I don't know if I can pull it off with a straight face. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, sir.
I love Jesus. Yes, I do. Nope, so you can't do it.
No, it's great. You
I'll
just
be the
take whatever's
manager. It'll be
popular. Take whatever's popular and do it. People would buy it from you.
Oh, I wouldn't sell it. Trust me.
Yeah, that part's over. When we were younger, it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. So, is there any final things you would like to toss out for us before we say goodnight?
New book will be back available soon. The Clown Watches the Clock. Probably, I don't know how long until this comes out, but the book will be back up running and for sale soon. And the pre-order for the new record, along with the new single, will be coming out hopefully here in the next month. The record is also called The Clown Watches the Clock, and I think it's really good. And I think they're the best songs I've ever written by kind of a far place. So I really look forward. I really hope people maybe follow me on the social medias and everything, and maybe buy something from me so I can buy a cheeseburger.
I'm interested in the fact that you just said that you feel like it's your best songwriting ever, because I'm very excited to hear that, because I think you're an awesome songwriter.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you. I work really, I work really hard on it. So you all saying that, it means a lot to me. No shit. So thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening to episode 36 of Music in the Minor League. Hope you really enjoyed it. It was great to sit down with Micah and discuss music and writing and all of that kind of stuff. Hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. Again, check him out online. Follow all the links. Go check out the book. It's a good one. One last time, if you like the podcast, please share it with a friend. Tell your buddies about it. Help us get the word out so all these great artists get the recognition they deserve. If you want to be on the podcast, hit us up. Let us know. We'd love to talk to you. And that's really it for now, man. So thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for giving us a listen. We're going to head out. This is one of Micah's songs from his upcoming album. This song is called Christian Rock Band. We hope you dig it. See you next time. Later.
Vaguely suggested message of a higher power. Well, I sat next to stage. I was sweating out a fever as the blonde-haired, blue-eyed singer asked the crowd if they wanted more, and they did. So I took 2 more Advil and sweated through an encore. They were waving their praise hands in the air like they really cared. This one lady, she had a Bible and she was crying, and the band was playing a Stone Temple Pilots song, just singing different words to it. Didn't know that was legal, but I don't think it's smart, and I don't think it's funny. I guess I'll never be good at fooling people for money. But I don't think it's smart, and I don't think it's funny. I guess I'll never be good at fooling people for money. I think this is a story about limitations, failing to meet your own expectations of yourself. Now some people will never have that problem, because they can easily pretend to be someone else. Because if you're willing to sacrifice who you really are, people will pay you money to not make them uncomfortable. I don't know, that's just my idea. You ever feel that way? Well, I don't think it's smart, and I don't think it's funny. I guess I'll never be good at fooling people for money. Well, I don't think it's smart, and I don't think it's funny. I'll never